Hi, welcome to this demo of phoenixcommand.net. This website and application is a suite of tools that helps automate and run a Phoenix Command game. And this demo will assume that you know some of the rules and how to play Phoenix Command already. And this will just show you how to use these rules or how to use these tools to use with your game. So to get started, you'll need to sign in with a Google account. There may be other authentication methods in the future, but for now you just need a Google account to sign in. I'm already signed in here. To get started, you can create a new game. So I'm going to create a new game here. Here's your ID and your email. You can give the game a name here. You can also invite players, IDs separated by commas. There might be a better way to invite people in the future, but if you know somebody's already created an account here, you can they need to send you this ID, and then you just do a comma-separated list of those IDs, and that will add them to your game. You can also generate a name here, so Operation Congested Sunset, great. So click Create, game's created successfully, great. So you can come to the games list. Here's a list of all the games I've created. Here are the ones I've joined that other people have made. So I'm going to go to Congested Sunset, and you'll see it's on Phase 1, Impulse 1, the very beginning of the game. And I can create as many different characters here as I want. Currently there's just an empty slot waiting for a new character, so I'm going to create new character. And here we're on Operation Congested Sunset, which is right. I can fill in all of these details by hand, or I can just click random. So I've got codename Torch with a skill level 3. I can change these. Any of these, I'm going to give them higher skill level, higher strength, make them a lot better. Give him some armor if you want. And then from here you can give him any equipment or weapons. And now each piece of equipment or weapon has a weight associated with it. So if you give him a whole bunch of stuff, it's going to weigh him down. It's going to reduce his number of combat actions because he's slow. So I'll just give him a couple of different... I'll give him 3 different weapons here. Click Create, character created successfully, great. So if I can go back up to the games list here, or I can go back up and just click on Congested Sunset, and it'll take me back. Here's Torch. If I click on Torch, here's his character sheet with all the values that we added, plus a lot of the computed attributes like knockdown value, skill accuracy level. Those are all tables that you normally need to look up in the book, and that's all handled for you here. It also distributes the number of combat actions across the 4 impulses for you, which is also a couple of different tables. You can change the cover here. You can change his firing stance, and this is really just convenience for you to remember the position that it's in. So you can imagine using this on like a mobile phone in your miniatures game, and just as a reminder of how your miniature is positioned. So if I click on the weapons tab here, here's a list of all the weapons that I gave him. So he's got a pistol, we've got this explosive device, two explosive devices, that's great, and a pistol. Gear and actions currently do nothing, but placeholders for future features. So if you look in the weapons, it's got number of rounds loaded, the ammo type. You can change this ammo type here, and this will update on the calculator. As the weapon is fired, it will be deducted from the number of rounds loaded. If you ever run out of ammo, it will alert you. You can always come back in here and reload. Gives you your shot accuracy based on your aim time, the knockdown, type of ammo weight, etc. All right, so to fire this weapon, just come into calculators, and you're still on. You need to make sure you're on the game that you are currently playing, and you need to import a character. We've only got Torch for this one game, so it brings in and it fills in all the weapons that he has access to, the skill accuracy. So I'm gonna have him just shoot this like 70 millimeter anti-tank weapon, and you can see it changes the shot type. If I were to come back into type 51, that's just a pistol, so it's only a single shot. If it were a submachine gun or assault rifle, you get burst or single shot. So he's got this we're going to give him a... That's 60 feet away. A hex is 6 feet, so that's a little close. I think a blast radius is up to 60 feet with these, so let's do... We don't want to fire that close. Give him a nice long aim time. You can change his firing stance, the position. So it loads in from the character sheet as what you had it set, but you can also change it here if you want. Any of the situational modifiers, any visibility modifiers, the target size, whether they have cover, they're prone, what have you. You can change that all here, and that will change the accuracy modifier. So yeah, that's a pretty close hit. He's got a 99% chance of hitting. So with automatic weapons, you have the burst elevation chance. That is all handled accurately as well. So I'm going to fire weapon. So the explosive hit on target, if I calculate damage, so anyone who is on the target takes 2,600 points of damage, and then it gives you the number of hexes away, potential location if you want to use that. And you can imagine if you were firing an automatic weapon like a submachine gun or assault rifle, if you were to spray those bullets across a number of hexes, it would also do something similar here. So it automatically calculates the recovery. So if somebody was hit directly by this anti-tank weapon, they'd have a 0% chance of survival in 81 phases. If you were to somehow get them first aid, they still wouldn't survive. If for some reason this happened in an aid station, so there's no way that this person, unless they happen to be right in the middle of a field hospital, they'd have a 5% chance of survival. But if the target was 12 feet away and they got hit in the shin, they'd take 123 points of damage. With no aid, they'd have a 13% chance of survival in 11 hours. So you have 11 hours. Essentially what that means is you have 11 hours to get them any kind of aid. If you're to get to them, they go up to 21% with first aid. If you could get them to an aid station, it goes up. If in 11 hours you can get them to a field hospital, they'd have an 82% chance of survival in 25 days. So that's how damage works. You can always come back in here and play with this if you want. One of the other tools is timers. So a lot of things that you have to do in the game are remember that something happens in a certain number of combat actions. And so if you were to, say, import your character Torch here, it would bring in the number of combat actions per phase. So say you wanted to reload a weapon, and it took 8 combat actions to reload that particular weapon. You could set that here and reload MP5 or whatever the weapon was. And so if it took 8 combat actions to reload an MP5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it should reload on phase 2, impulse 2. If I set this timer, yep, timer set for phase 2, impulse 2. So that timer has been set. And if you come back into the operation page, every character has a button up here that when you click, it means basically you're ready. And once everybody presses that button, it advances to the next impulse. And because in Phoenix Command, everyone acts simultaneously. So when you've done everything you want, you click that, and then once everybody's clicked that, then it will advance it. Since I'm the only character here, every time I click this, it will just advance by 1. Okay, so we're going to go to, I think it was phase 2, impulse 2. So here's phase 2, impulse 1. So when I click this, we go to the next impulse. It should alert me that I need to reload. My MP5 is now reloaded. So that's just something to help remind you how of combat actions. There's a couple of different other timers, so you can also set it by number of phases. So if you wanted to say, you can set it by time, so put the phase and impulse in, and it will set it that way. If you want to set it by incapacitation time, so in the damage you saw, the incapacitation time. If you want to know when somebody's going to die, for example, you could do like 1 minute, and that's the format for that. And if you click over here, it will convert that into number of phases. And you can set a timer, and that will alert you in 1 minute of game time, which is 30 phases. So that's really the basics. There's a bunch more that can be added, but for now, everything is in place to create a game, track your characters, fire a variety of weapons. More weapons are being added. And if you have any kind of comments or questions or notice any bug, please, there's a form, questions or comments. You can click on this and send me any feedback that you want. Again, here's a list of all the weapons that are supported, just a variety of pistols and assault rifles and a couple of different shotguns and explosive weapons. So that is basically it. Hope you enjoy. Thanks a lot.